Good morning. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Larry. Uh, I'm doing this a little different today. I'm inside. First time I've done one inside since I've started this channel. In front of the fireplace. Fall decorations are out. And I have to say my wife did that. I don't do decorations, but she does. She likes them. That's the extent of our fall decorations. And that's some of her artwork in the back. That's what she calls her Lion of Judah. But anyway, I've got, by popular demand, I've had a few people ask me how I got out of debt before I retired. And that's what this video is going to be about. Uh, I did a video a short time ago, how I lost everything at one point in my life. And I did. I lost everything. Go back and check that out. But I'm going to pick this back up after I started rebuilding my life a little bit. But I did. I lost everything. But I started building my business, painting and drywall contractor. Started out with just me, ended up with as many as 10 or 12 people at one time or another. So basically, it took right off. Once I learned how to spray paint, it took right off. And I was amazed. I mean, I was really amazed. I showed up, I remember, I'll never forget when I first started painting apartments. I showed up 3 days in a row at an apartment complex to paint vacant apartments. I paid very little. I showed up 3 days in a row on time and sober, and they were shocked. I mean, they were shocked. So I thought, maybe there's something to this painting thing. I can do this. I mean, you do your work, go home, get paid, so I do this. Anyway, long story short, within a period of about a year and a half, I went from making literally zero to making over six figures. And to say I was ecstatic was putting it mildly. The first year I made some serious money doing. Now this is going back 35 years, so that was a lot of money even then. To say I was ecstatic was putting it mildly. But then I found out about this thing called taxes. I paid $27,000 in federal income tax alone. I was crushed. I mean, I just couldn't believe people actually paid that much. And I had the money because I'd been saving. We were living in a much smaller house at the time, didn't have any bills really because didn't have any credit. So anyway, I decided I wasn't going to do that again ever, and I haven't since. Of course, I never made that kind of money again either. But during that time frame, we bought our current house. Been here about little over 30 years. I scaled back the business because I figured out real quick. After about a year or two, I figured out real quick I didn't want 10 or 12 employees. So I got down to 3 or 4 employees at any given time, and it worked out better for me, actually better. But my income also dropped. I was probably in the 70 to 80K range. At that point, we had our house, our payment, and bills, and car payment, and regular living bills, and all that. Started investing in some mutual funds. Every month I put some money in mutual funds, and it was working out great. It was working out great. But then this thing called, I know we've got a term for it these days, it's called lifestyle creep. We take a little vacation. I bought a new van, which I needed for my business. Nothing was spent on us personally that much. I ended up buying a handful of rentals again. That was going to be my retirement plan. And then I found out about this other aspect of my business called accounts receivables. At one point, I had $100,000 in receivables. I was just a small little outfit. At that time, I think I had 6 or 7 employees. We were doing a job here in Cincinnati, and we were doing one in Chicago, and we were doing one in Indianapolis, and I just couldn't handle it anymore. So I had to float a lot of the time, labor, materials. I had to float those and credit card bills. Well, the credit card bills kind of started stacking up a little bit. So we were paying on them. I was paying on them, but we refied the house to pay off the credit card bills. And let me tell you guys, this is for the men. The wife was not happy. We had a very nice house, but she was not happy. We didn't, not a lavish lifestyle at all, but she was not happy because women like, and this may sound sexist, but women like having the house paid off much more than men. They like that security. And I'm okay with that. So I decided at that point I wasn't going to do it again. So how did I get out of debt? Well, the first thing I did was I stopped investing into mutual funds. They were doing well, but by this time I was 60, so I could sell them and not have to pay a big tax burden on it. Just regular, as I counted any profit as regular income, and I was okay with that. but I poured it into the house. I didn't want any debt. I knew I didn't want any more debt. And then a couple of years go by. I guess it was about the same time. I get the times mixed up sometimes. We refied our house again, only this time for a different reason. We refied it at 4.25%, which was very low at the time. For 15 years, we qualified for it, had excellent credit by now. And so we started paying it off. Here's the way I paid off the house. This is old school. Some of you is going to laugh who use computers all the time. But I got an old school amortization schedule which shows you how much principal, how much interest you pay every month. Not taxes and insurance, but interest and principal. And I printed it out. It was like 5-6 pages long. And every time a month would come by and I made the payment, I'd scratch that payment off. Well, I'd look at the interest, and the interest was down here, up here, and the principal was down here. Over a period of the next 3 or 4 years, it started switching. Man, then I got really aggressive towards it. At 60, when I was around 60, like I said, I paid all. I sold my mutual funds, got a small inheritance, and I ended up paying the house off. But I had no bills, and I had no retirement. I had no retirement at all, because my plan was for the rental properties, just a handful, all positive cash flow, was to have them paid off by the time I retired. But then I got sick for 3 years. I got sick, came down with rheumatoid arthritis, literally could not work for 3 years. Lost any savings we had. The rental properties got in disrepair. But it went into remission, thankfully, and I was able to start working again. And we got scary frugal. I mean, we wouldn't buy anything. We got frugal. Everything we went in paid any debt we had left, and then we started saving. We started saving because I was able to work a little bit, not every day, but I was able to work every day. Getting out of debt, if you've got an income, getting out of debt is not brain surgery. Don't spend money. I had people, you see people online all the time complaining about the price of this, the price of that. Well, if the price of that gallon of milk is too high, why don't you drink water? Or get a cheaper version, or don't drink as much. If you complain about that $7 latte you get at Starbucks, guess what? Don't buy it. I got really upset when my Speedway coffee refill went from 99 cents to $1.29. I think it's $1.49 now, but I get most of them for free now because I'm such a regular customer. Just don't spend money. We didn't spend money on anything. I mean, every dollar I spent was like an investment. I felt like it was just an investment. So by the time a few years rolled past, we were able to, by now the house was paid off. We had no bills, no credit card bills. And my last job was actually this year, April. And it took me 4 days, about killed me. I decided after that I couldn't do it anymore. But after that, it paid. The only reason I did that, it paid our real estate taxes for the entire year. It's about almost $4,000, I guess, about $4,000. That's about what I made on that job, because I spray paint, and I'm not going to go into all that, but made some really good money. But this isn't hard. How to get out of debt? Number one thing you got to do is just don't spend the money. Don't spend money unless it's absolutely, positively necessary. You can look at all kinds of channels about being frugal, about grocery store shopping, about doing this and about doing that. But bottom line, it's a mindset. It's all in the mind. Just stop spending money. I know it's not brain surgery. Maybe you're expecting something different today, but we just stop spending money. And today I live a life of contentment. We're not well off by any means, and we're still frugal. But I'll tell you what, I like being frugal. It's almost a game to me. If I can get by with not spending this money, this afternoon, early yesterday afternoon, I felt like a coffee. I think I'll just run over Speedway. It's just a mile away. Get me a free cup of coffee. And I thought, no, I'm not even going to spend the gas money. I just had a coffee at home. Didn't taste quite as good, but I saved a buck. Okay? Just stop spending money. I know that's not maybe what you all were expecting, but that's what I have for today. If you got anything out of this, like, share, subscribe. Until we meet again, I'm going to continue to press on towards that goal.